And we're live for Formal Friday, and that's why this is starting slightly. Hello, Annette. Starting slightly late because very last second I realised I didn't have my Formal Friday gear on, so I quickly ran and put something a bit more formal on, and now I'm here to see in another weekend in these strange times that we live in. But hey, it's Friday. Regardless of everything else that's going on in the world, it's definitely Friday, even though I find myself regularly not being able to judge time very well. Remember how long ago something happened, how long something has been happening, all those things. So very weird. Hey, Luke, how you going? I didn't want to do up my top button. I should do up my top button. Take it seriously. That's why I've never liked ties, even with a properly fitting shirt, one that isn't too tight for my fat neck. Just something really, even if it's loose fitting, there's something constricting about doing up your top button. But that'll do. Oh, there you go. I look much more presentable. Just looking at how crooked the camera is. What's it doing? Wait, if I do this, oh no, it's level. There we go. That's okay. Cool. No, I look really level. Oh well, whatever. Oh god, yes, the government phone tracking app. That's like the worst today. If people don't do it voluntarily, they'll make it mandatory. Which fuck them so fucking hard. It's absolutely absurd. How would they even enforce that? It's just like it's just beyond stupid on so many levels. These people are such fucking idiots, and especially when it comes to technology. They're just absolutely useless. You know, they screwed up the census. They screwed up the My Health, My Health, whatever the fuck. They're just useless. And hello, Justin and Musical Aviator. Was it Justin? The IRS fucked up its portal for stimulus checks. It's government IT, man. It's shit as a general rule. It's like the Obama administration, they fucked up the Obamacare website. It was ages before it worked properly. Just government IT, man. It's shit. It's just not good, is what I'm saying. And also, this particular government are absolutely untrustworthy. Just not to be trusted. They are just the fucking worst, basically. Looking at some potential cocktails here, and it's like, ooh, a popular article on 1980s cocktails. Yeah, it's pretty ugly time. At least one or two of the following elements comprise. At least one or two of the following elements comprise your typical 80s cocktail: a name with plenty of sexual innuendo, a neon color, preferably electric blue, which would normally be blue curacao or lurid green, probably from the melon liqueur, orange juice, sour mix, vodka, cream of coconut, Southern Comfort, Bailey's Original Irish Cream, peach schnapps, glassware that was either huge or tiny. Yeah, it's pretty ugly time. Yeah, none of these are good. Alabama Slammer, Amaretto Sour, B52. Between the Sheets. Oh, that's it. Yeah, okay, that's actually a good cocktail, I think. Blue Lagoon, Blue Hawaiian, Bucks Fizz, variation on a mimosa. And there was that terrible pop act, Bucks Fizz, a Dirty Banana. I did see a YouTube channel do that just the other day. A Fluffy Duck. Oh dear. A fuzzy navel. There you go. A grasshopper. Oh god, yeah, these are all terrible. A Harvey Wallbanger, a jungle bird, Long Island iced tea. Whereas Marge Simpson should be a large island iced tea. Pina colada, screaming orgasm, sex on the beach, Singapore sling, slippery nipple, slow, comfortable screw against the wall, which is, of course, a screwdriver with slow gin, Southern Comfort, and orange juice, so it's like a Harvey Wallbanger. A woo woo, peach snaps and cranberry juice. They're all just so shit. What's the one that's actually possibly good? Was the Between the Sheets. I'm sure I've had that. I'm sure it's in my book. What's everyone doing? Anthony, hello. No, Anthony, you would be lying if you say a bat caused this. That's bullshit. Loogie, thank you for coming in early. Oh, Annette, you've got an 80s look happening. Well, I'll definitely open up the forum, as it were. Anthony, you're drinking a Virgin Cuba Libre. You're drinking a Coke? Is that what you mean? Cuba Libre is just rum and Coke, so I assume Anthony's drinking a Coke. Nothing wrong with that. So, but yes, was a Between the Sheets is obviously Bacardi, cognac, triple sec, lemon juice, and a little bit of sugar syrup. Yeah, see, that's a good blend. That's well, it's got two liqueurs. See, a standard mix is like there are a lot of standard cocktails that are spirit, liqueur, and citrus, and that's what this is. You can sometimes, to get variances in the flavor, you can have two spirits or two liqueurs, or a different juice, or different bitters or herbs or spices. This has got the two spirits. It's got the Bacardi and it's got cognac. So that's often how people get variant from the sort of base cocktail profile of spirit, liqueur, citrus. You mix it up, like two or more liqueurs, two or more spirits. But that's a tried and true thing that balances with spirit, liqueur, and citrus. Oh, I did guess right, Anthony. Okay, it's a nice way of putting it, though. Virgin Cuba Libre. Ah, Lukey, that's got a name, doesn't it? It's like a hillbilly drink, the Mountain Dew and whiskey. I read think about. Oh, Annette, you've got some Kahlua. So, see, I don't like coffee flavored things. So I'm not big on Kahlua or Bailey's. I do have a creamy liqueur, though. The good thing is when you've got something creamy, like you can make yourself a good dessert cocktail. It doesn't have to be, but you put that with anything fruity, either a fruit liqueur or actually fruit juice, and you can get a nice dessert type thing happening. That's why I like I've got a chocolate liqueur, and I often have Advocaat, which is like an egg, sort of creamy egg liqueur. It's just very good for making dessert-like cocktails. Once you add whatever fruit flavors you like. If you've got a lemon juice or a lemon-flavored liqueur or orange, what have I got there? I've got things you could add. I've got banana and orange and blood orange and lychee-flavored liqueur. I've got quite a few fruit-flavored liqueurs over there. They make for a good mix, but I'm trying to decide what to have for the first cocktail of the night. Do I go with the 80s theme and do it Between the Sheets? It's actually really, it's a slight variation on one of my favorite drinks, the Sidecar. It's a Sidecar with rum. Why don't I actually? I uploaded a video about sidecars to my cocktail channel last night when I shot here on this very live stream about a week ago. Yeah, I'm going to make it between the sheets just for a laugh. So I got to get a few things. Oh God! So in my rush, I was about to rinse my cocktail shaker, but then I rushed to put my Formal Friday gear on. So I'm just going to rinse my cocktail shaker. Normally I'd actually put it through the dishwasher, but I forgot to today. That's the way it goes. So I'll just be over here for a minute, rinsing off my important accoutrements. Give it a shake. That looks pretty clean. That looks pretty darn clean to me. I'll bring a tea towel over here. All right. So just put this tea towel there and put everything on it. Dry out a bit. Oh, I think if I gotta get these components for this drink. Annette, you found cherry syrup at the local deli, Sunrise Drinks. Yeah, cherry is a good flavour for a lot of drinks, actually. No, dropping by for a few minutes. That's okay. If you've only got a few minutes to spare, it's nice that you spend a few minutes here. Good to see you. Yeah, I've got a cherry liqueur here, but yeah, just actual cherry flavour or maraschino cherries are the syrup that they come in. Is in lots of cocktails. So a cherry syrup is a good addition for mixing drinks. Gives them a bit of color and a bit of flavor. It's pretty easy to use. So what do I have to pull together for this? We want Bacardi, cognac, Cointreau, and lemon juice and sugar syrup. Easy peasy. Okay, get these pieces. Cognac, Cointreau. Let's see, I'm just going to put this over here, get it out of the way. I want to get the lemon juice out of here. And Bacardi. And syrup. Okay, that's everything. Great. Get it all together. Okay. What did I say? 3/4 shot each, and just a 1/4 shot of lemon juice and a tiny bit of sugar syrup. All right. You got to be a little glass. Shake. I need some ice for my shaker. Oh, some ice here. Got some glasses. Chilling like a villain. For tonight's little extravaganza. All right, so 3/4, 3/4, and 1/4, and 12. Okay, cool. Lucky, can you give me $1 for your booze fund? I actually do have a Patreon that I never promote, that I haven't really got around to promoting. I think you'd. I set it all up and everything and then never did anything with it. I think it's just /Angry Aussie. Let's see. Angry Aussie. Yeah. Patreon /Angry Aussie. There you go. And there's like no patrons on it because I've never actually made it public. So there you go. Right. Let's mix this. Few 3/4 ounce. That was a bit cavalier, but I caught it just in time. I was watching a live stream on Facebook of an Australian distillery, Applewood Distilleries. They've been doing live streams, and they're quite fun. And guy showed this video from a now defunct website. Like, I don't think it's updated anymore, but the videos are still there. It's an American site called mahalo.com. I think mahalo means something in Hawaiian. And their cocktail recipes are just fucking terrible. Chelsea, hello. Just pouring some cognac. Want links? Oh, okay. I'm not sure when you asked for links, Loogie. It's pretty straightforward. It's just at Patreon/Angry Aussie. What did you say? 1/4 ounce of this? Holy fucking shit! Good aim, you dick. That's probably a bit more than I was meant to. That's okay. How are you this evening, Chelsea? A little bit of sugar syrup, just a little bit. Balance that lemon juice. All right. Shaky. Try and be a bit stylish about it. Okay, get that. Ah, wait, I should get my glass. Glass is chilling in the freezer. Got a few glasses chilling in there because I plan to make a few drinks, including I'm going to do a comparison with some expensive boozes and see if they make it any better. Basically, is it worth the expensive booze is the question I am posing. I'm going to answer. Chelsea, you just woke up. Okay, are you in a different time zone to me, or is your sleep schedule shot to hell? Strain my drink. Ooh, just perfect. We're having this discussion last night. How much is in an average cocktail? See how neatly that fills my glass? My stylish Nick and Nora glass. It's a nice color, isn't it? Very orange. Got most of that color from the cognac. Yep, that's pretty good. No, that is actually pretty good. I quite like that. Hardly surprising I like it because it's just a minor variation on one of my favorite drinks. Between the sheets. That's a while since I wore. I think I wore these for Formal Friday 2 weeks ago. Different tie. Does anyone recognize? Got my Ren and Stimpy tie on. Not sure how good the resolution on the live stream is. It's one of my Ren and Stimpy ties. I used to have all these cartoon character ties back when I worked jobs where I had to wear a tie. That's a thing that I don't have to do anymore, which is an absolutely huge relief, I can tell you. Not fond of ties, not fond of having to have my top button done up all day. Still wear when I'm in the office. And like most people who work in offices, I am not in the office at the moment, working from home. And but when I'm in the office, I do wear a collared shirt, and in fact, I wear a vest most days too, just because I like to. To wear a white shirt, Mrs. Angry likes me in a white shirt, so I dress for her. Thank you, Loogie, for being my patron. I very much appreciate it. Yes, I feel a bit guilty about pushing the Patreon because I have a job, and I'm not trying to fund myself through Patreon. But you know, I probably should. I don't know. My Bible, the Cocktail Chronicles. Decide on a drink to make after the Between the Sheets. Again, every time I go through this book, I just go, Luke, it has actually been public. I set it up like a year ago, just before they changed the terms, so the terms were less favorable to creator. I thought, oh shit, they're going to make it suck more. I'm going to set one up now. Mr. Grant Gregory, I'm glad you like the tie. I think it's got Ren on it. I think it's got Ren on it too. If I pull it out. Oh yeah, there's a wren at the bottom. I have a number of Ren and Stimpy ties. A howitzer, such a great name. When I ever get cocktails that are like got champagne or even just soda water. Yes, Comic Book Lad, it is a Ren and Stimpy tie. The classics. Howitzer sounds cool. It's like bourbon, lemon juice, simple syrup, which is, okay, that's a whiskey sour, basically. Then peach bitters, so you're still a whiskey sour, but then topped with champagne. So a howitzer is basically a whiskey sour topped with champagne. Leave it to me. Gin and lemon juice and raspberry and maraschino. Simple syrup. Yeah. A Claridge. An Ephemeral. That's a great name, isn't it? Film Nerd TV, my first cocktail for this evening is a Between the Sheets. It's Bacardi, cognac, Cointreau, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of sugar syrup. David, what's the simplest cocktail that punches above its weight satisfaction-wise? Look, to state the obvious, that's going to depend on your tastes. I was going to say, do I have 4 picks the same? They are fridge magnets, actually. They are the same. They are fridge magnets that I had made for no good reason a while ago of fan art someone sent me, essentially. Annette, you can't find your tiara. Don't you hate it when you can't find your tiara? So, David, my favorite simple ones, like if you like whiskey, a whiskey sour is friggin' great. And that's just whiskey and lemon juice and a sweetener, sugar syrup or sugar, dash of bitters maybe. And if you want to make it extra special, make it with egg white. I love it with egg white. Not everyone does, but I do. This little gem is a variation on one of my favorites, which is a sidecar. Sidecar's brandy or cognac, or cognac's just a brandy, an orange liqueur, like I use Cointreau, but it's like triple sec or curacao as well, and lemon juice. That's a sidecar. That's a great drink, and very simple. This one actually has the addition of Bacardi. It's called Between the Sheets. It has Bacardi and just a tiny bit of sugar syrup. It's very nice, but punch above its weight. I mean, you know, if you mean like as in kick of alcohol, make a whiskey sour with overproof rye whiskey, which I did recently, and in fact made a video of comparing a whiskey sour just with standard bourbon and with rye whiskey, and then with a higher quality rye whiskey, Rittenhouse rye, which is 50% alcohol. The Rittenhouse was the best. They're all good. I love a whiskey sour. But yeah, my personal taste would be with a Rittenhouse rye. But I mean, you know, the classic is an old fashioned, which is just whiskey with a sweetener, either sugar or sugar syrup, and bitters. And to top it off, you want to make a whiskey old fashioned special, a twist of orange juice. You want to get a little bit of orange peel and twist it so the orange oil sprays over the drink, and you wipe the rim of the glass with the orange peel, and that just makes the drink. Just that extra orange aromatic with the whiskey old fashioned is just. I almost never bother to garnish drinks when I'm making them at home because I can't be bothered. But again, I have a video with a friend where I made the old fashioned. I showed the difference it made to do the orange. Really makes a whiskey old fashioned. The twist of orange in there. Shazcraft, do I like a screwdriver with Dopataka seasoning? Short answer would be no. Vodka and orange. It would you would. I'll get this sentence out at some point, Shaz. You would certainly be making the screwdriver more interesting by putting a drop of taco seasoning or salsa in it, or Tabasco even, something with a bit of spice. I tend not to make the 2-ingredient drinks like a screwdriver or a Cuba Libre or whatever. And I also tend not to do drinks that have a lot of juice or a lot of soda in them, just because that actually clouds the taste of the drink. But yeah, you do you, I guess. But yeah, putting something spicy in a screwdriver would definitely make it more interesting. This Grand Gregory, have I tried Proper 12 Irish whiskey? That's the one the Boxer markets, isn't it? I'm not a whiskey aficionado. I've got some Irish whiskey. It's just what was it? Jameson's. Yes, the like bog standard Jameson's. I'm not a real whiskey aficionado. I like it in cocktails, and because the different whiskeys have different profiles. I've got Scotch, I've got bourbon, I've got Irish, and I've got rye, because they all have their own profiles. And of course, within Scotch, you have all this mirrored thing. Within Irish whiskey, you have all these variations. Within bourbon, you have all these variations. But I've got a fairly bog standard Scotch, bog standard Irish, bog standard bourbon, fairly bog standard rye, but then I've got a special rye as well. Luke, I don't think I've ever had Dr. Pepper. I don't even know what flavor it is. I thought it was meant to be like that sarsaparilla flavor, but apparently it's not. Comic book lad, you garnish your booze with not having straight from the bottle. Well, that's one way to drink, certainly. Nice. Lukey's given me some US government money for my booze fund. Excellent. That's what I like to hear. That's a good plan. Look, God, no. Let's. It's Friday. Let's just talk about booze. I gotta find something that sounds interesting. Rob Roy. All right, that's just a Manhattan made with Scotch rather than bourbon. Scotch and vermouth and orange bitters. And a Bobby Burns is Scotch, vermouth, and Benedictine. There you go. Do I have Benedictine? I think I do. No, I have Drambuie. I don't think I have Benedictine. No. I got a lot of things, but I don't have that. Pecan Punch, an MR Pecan. I don't even know what that is. Ooh, whenever I see something with Campari in it, like Campari is the devil. I do not like Campari. Applejack Rabbit, Applejack orange juice, lemon juice, maple syrup. It's a fruity Applejack. I've got Applejack. Applejack is an American apple brandy. Calvados is the French equivalent. Syncopation, brandy, Calvados, Cointreau, lemon juice. So that's basically what I just had. but with Calvados apple brandy instead of Bacardi. A Widow's Kiss, Calvados and Chartreuse and Benedictine. See, every now and then I think of getting Benedictine because there's a lot of, I think, do I have super chat? No, Quinry Chamber of Commerce meetings. I do not. I just try to keep an eye on the chat. My channel used to be monetized. I voluntarily demonetized it a couple of years ago when they did all that bullshit of cracking on various things, and I swear all the time, and I can't be fucked trying to keep in line to maintain my monetization. So I thought I'd dip out on my own terms, and I actually just stopped monetization. I was one of the first people in Australia to get monetization, actually. Mint. Don't have any mints. I'm going to do what's a coffee? Gross. Coffee. Yuck. I do not like coffee flavored things, so I'll never make a coffee flavored. No, well, not never, but almost never. Champagne cocktails. 20th century. I like these variations. There's an Art Deco cocktail called the 20th century. This has a few variations. Also, the 21st century and the 30th century man. See, classic 20th century is gin, lemon juice, Lillet Blanc, white creme de cacao. I have all that. I could make that. Oh, wait, did I use up the Lillet Blanc? I just substitute the Cocky Americano. The 21st century is tequila, lemon juice, white creme de cacao, and a little splash of absinthe. I'm a bit fond of 21st century. Hey, Adele, and hey, Megaleech, how you doing? Good to see you. And the 30th century is Scotch. They get fussy and say an Islay single malt Scotch, Ardbeg recommended. Lemon juice, creme de cacao, Cointreau, and 2 dashes absinthe. I'd like 21st century tequila, lemon juice, white creme de cacao, and a splash of absinthe. That is actually a pretty good drink. I don't know if there's anything in here I haven't made that's good. The bourbon, lime juice, allspice, simple syrup is a lion's tail. I think I've made that. I have that stuff. A bijou. Gin, green chartreuse, sweet vermouth, and orange bitters. I've got a decent vermouth. I'm going to make that. Because I might have tried it before, but with a really shitty vermouth like Cinzano. But I've got a quite good vermouth now, an Australian vermouth, that's flavoured with Australian botanicals. So it's very unique. Might make that a bijou. Gin, chartreuse, vermouth, and a dash of bitters. And that's a stirred drink. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. I think that's mainly just water I'm putting into my drink, but I finished this one and I'm going to make a bijou. And then in a little while, I'm going to set up my actual video recording camera over there, and I'm going to make another comparison video, and y'all will get to watch me do it. I'm going to make a Manhattan. In fact, I'm going to make 3 Manhattans, one with just standard bourbon, and then 2 with much more expensive bourbons, one overproof and one underproof. And then I'm going to do a blind, Mrs. Angry is going to come out and help me. I'm going to do a blind taste test and see if I can tell the difference. Well, I'm sure I'll tell the difference, but we'll see which I prefer. Do I think the expensive ones, because it'll be a blind taste test, so I won't know which one I'm drinking. I'll decide which one I think tastes best, and then Mrs. Angry shall reveal which one I preferred. Because I thought that would be a bit of fun. Also, gives me an excuse to drink 3 bourbon cocktails. Hey! Okay, there's that one down. What are we? 8:30. That's good. I often wonder that worry that I'm drinking too quickly, but that's like only one drink in half an hour. It's nothing. No, you don't get to see. Mrs. Angry's not going to come on camera because she is a professional. She's a psychologist, counselor, and she doesn't need to be dragged down in the mud with my foolishness. So she's not going to be on camera. You'll hear her voice, but you won't see her. Yes, we do need more booze, Loogie. So I'm going to put these ones back. This was a pretty simple recipe. Bijou, yeah, 1 ounce. Okay. Gin, chartreuse, and vermouth. All right, so I'm going to put these ones back in their proper places. Over here with all the rums. I'll make another rum one later. I've got some overproof rum. Put the Cointreau back here. And now we want to get the gin, which is here. The chartreuse is somewhere here. Chartreuse is running a bit low. I have to do a bottle shop run at some point. It just takes so long for me to go through a bottle of these because I've got so many of them. What else did I say was in it? Chartreuse, vermouth, sweet vermouth. Oh, there's gone the sweet vermouth. Okay. And it said orange bitters. I don't actually have orange bitters, but I have other fruit bitters. What fruit bitters will I use? I should get some orange bitters. Oh, this one. This is citrus bitters. Isn't it? Yeah, this is a citrus bitter, so that'll do. Oh, and this is a stirred cocktail. So, I'm going to need to get my stirring glass. Which is down here. Put a big block of ice in it and get my stirring spoon as well. Which should be in here. And it is. A stirring spoon. Big block of ice or two in the stirring glass. Nope, nope, nope. Got to do this. Be a little bit careful because I've got glasses in there chilling and I don't want to break them. They're a little bit delicate. 2 big squares of ice for stirring the drink. Gently put that back in there. Okay. It'll be cool. Can it be cool? But I just really don't want to. Okay, so now 1 ounce of each of these. Adele, you found bread flour. Nice, but no loo roll. That's so strange that you're still having trouble with the loo roll. The patron link. Okay, no, I'm the only one who can put links on here. Patreon. Okay, this is basically the first time I've ever publicized my Patreon. Oh, nice. And you got a Woolies delivery that included toilet paper. I thought the supermarkets were maintaining a supply at the moment. They certainly are in Melbourne. A little while since I've been. All right, so 1 ounce of each of these little beauties. Yeah, that's a fantastic color, isn't it? Some vermouths are white, some are red. This one's red. It's an aromatized wine. It's a wine that's been infused with various herbs and fruit. What do they say is in this one, actually? Strawberry gum, sea parsley, wattle seed, river mint. Basically, Australian native herbs. The French tradition with an Australian flavour. All right. So, 1 ounce of vermouth. Now, this is a new bottle of gin. Get that fun noise when you crack the top. All right, ounce of gin. And 1 ounce of chartreuse. Kirsten, you've had Medini. It is, I discovered it relatively recently. It is very good. Oh, you've got family you can lean on for toilet paper. I'm going to double check it really said an ounce of green chartreuse, because green chartreuse is pretty strong. 7 ounce of green chartreuse. So there we go. The mysterious beverage of the monks. A recipe reputed to be centuries old. Natural green color. Right, from the herbs. The legend of chartreuse goes back to 1605, but it's only been a commercial drink since the 1800s. Only since the 1800s. There you go. Right, and citrus bitters. A little bit, yeah. Haven't used this one in ages. Not sure how. So, got to stir the drink. So it's both mixing, chilling, and just a little bit of diluting as well. Because this is just all spirit. There's nothing but spirit in this time. Kirsten, I don't have any Aussie gin. See, I'm not a big gin drinker. Mrs. Angry is more into gin than me. So I've only got one gin, and it's what happens to be on sale when I go there. This is a Costco special, a 1 litre bottle of Tanqueray, which is a good quality gin. A London Dry. I'll have to do a side-by-side tasting of the different styles of gin at some point to see if I can actually taste the difference, because I'm not that big a gin thing. Yeah, that's a lot of chartreuse in that. Cool. I like chartreuse. Now I've got to get my glass out of the freezer where it's chilling. Okay. Chilling like a villain. My strainer. Adele, you're a gin fan? Kirsten, I've been trying to get more Australian products. I've got Australian vermouth now. I have an Australian macadamia nut liqueur, and I have ordered an Australian whiskey drink. It's actually basically a pre-mixed old-fashioned by Starwood. And I have ordered a different a white vermouth from an Australian maker that sounded good. Loogie, we do have quite the history of being allowed to the US. A few years since I've been to the US, I've always had a good time, made so many good American friends off the tubes. Oh, Kirsten, you have over 100 Aussie gins. That makes it sound like you maybe run a bar or something. What did I see you on the other Facebook live chat? Are you from the Bitters Lab? It's like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, Gecko, how's it going? Luke, you're doing a nice coffee. Nice. Used to be a South Australian local, a Chinese company bought it. We do have a lot of things with foreign companies burning. Ah, Gecko, you're in Houston. Applying the lift business. This is a nice contrast to the last drink I had. The last one I had was really quite sweet. And this is like herbal, and it's got a really rich flavor. Thanks, Loogie. Loving a big USA hug. Thank you very much. And it's funny because that's just all spirit. Now, I would, as a rule, not just drink gin. I wouldn't drink straight gin. I wouldn't drink straight chartreuse. This Aussies, get your gear around this. Like, I just got this from a Dan Murphy's. You can get it from a few places. Get your gear around this. This is and they make a sweet, a dry, and a classic vermouth. I'm almost out of the sweet. I've got the classic I'm going to make some drinks with later. But Aussies, support local. It's kind of like because I'm not really, I was never into vermouth, and eventually I thought, oh, if I'm ever going to make a martini or a Manhattan, I need a vermouth. So I got the cheap and nasty. I got Cinzano, which is just peak 70s Australia to me. Like 70s and 80s, if you're trying to class, you had Cinzano. And it's really cheap, and it's basically not good. It's not great. This is essentially 3 times more expensive than Cinzano. Like, you can get Cinzano for $15 to maybe $20. That was over $40. Is it 3 times better than Cinzano? Yes. Yes, it is. It is actually worth it, because Cinzano is bloody horrible. And that one I haven't done it, but I reckon I could just sit back and sip Medini. It's really nice. No, look, I never drink Goon. I don't drink wine, let alone Goon. Adele, I wondered for a second, who the hell you were talking about. We did straight bitters last weekend. I thought, what mad bastard did that? Then I remembered a few of us did that on the live stream, including me, doing shots of bitters. Okay, see, Kirsten. I substitute Campari. I just cannot get on with Campari. It goes back to, I don't know, a strange experience I had with it. But Mrs. Angry agrees with me, actually. We've tried Negronis in heaps of different places, including one place that claimed they specialized in Negronis, and they had 6 variations. But I just can't get on board with Campari. But I've got Aperol. I'll substitute Aperol. I've got a couple Amaris and whatnot that I'll substitute in. And I recently got this Dolan bitter cherry aperitif, and it's great. I'll make a Negroni, but I'll swap out the Campari. I'm going to make some Manhattans later using Medini as the vermouth in them. And I'm going to do some comparisons with 3 different bourbons as the mixer, and see if I can tell in a blind taste test which one's most expensive. So, yeah. And Cinzano is the only vermouth you've ever known. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's since the 70s in Australia. I don't know why. Like the Italian wine-based drinks would be in Australia, like Tia Maria and what did my mum drink? Marsala lemonade. Mark, hello. Yes, I actually recognize your real name, Pipistrello. We were looking up through the old school YouTubers on Facebook. Kirsten, I've seen the Oka. Yeah, I will. As I said, I'm trying to add more Australian content to my bar, which is just over there. I'll show my bar over here. My drink carts. It's not a bar. It's drink carts. Oh, God damn it. Everything's tangled up here. Arrgh. Wait a sec. No. Quick look at my drinks carts. Come on. You can do it. Wait a sec. Hope that's not making anyone seasick. Try and get over here. It's my drinks carts. See? I got 2 drinks carts. So I think it'll be, look, it's going to be a while before I want to get another bitter aperitif, but I probably will try the Oka from Applewood. Been watching their live streams. Yeah, so I'm glad you like the shot of my ear. Gecko, you think the expensive ones have the worst taste? I don't know. See, that's the thing, because I've never really put... I'll show you what I'm going to use. I showed this in another live stream, actually. But I got this just after Christmas on sale. It was meant to be, a Christmas gift thing, and it didn't sell, so it was actually quite cheap. These were like $20. and it's got the Jim Beam small batch collection. So I think it's Jim Beam I have over there, isn't it? Just my bog standard Jim Beam and a huge thing from Costco. Yes. So I'm going to do a Manhattan with bog standard Jim Beam, and then there's got to decide which two to do it. This one's called Booker's. Okay, I am going to use this one. This is an overproof bourbon. This is 65% or 65.65%, so almost 66%. So what does that make it? 130 proof. That's reasonably serious overproof. And then there's this one. That's Booker's. There's this one that's called Baker's, 7-year-old. What's this? This was, I think this one's 50%. Where is it? My aged eyes can't see it. Approximately 2.1 standard drinks. Yeah, but where's the percent? Okay, yeah, that's another overproof. That's 53.5. And then there's this one. This is an 8-year-old one. Basil Hayden. This is a mere 40% standard bourbon strength. And then there's Jim Beam small batch, which is also 40%. So I think I'll make one with bog standard Jim Beam, the Jim Beam small batch, and the Booker's, the really overproof one. And then I'm going to blind taste test, see if I can tell the expensive one from the cheap one. Mark, you've been into whiskey tasting for just over a year. Yeah, people really get into it. I'm not that big into it. I'm a cocktail man. That's the thing. An interesting thing, Gecko, with wines. Someone who's not being a snob but who knows wine will almost always tell you to get a mid-range ones. Like the really cheap ones usually are shit, and the really expensive ones are different. But a lot of wine aficionados say it's different, and I can tell the difference between a really expensive wine and a mid-range wine, but I don't necessarily enjoy the expensive wine more. It's down to your particular taste. But I think most wine buffs who are honest would tell you just get a mid-range one. Don't get a really cheap one because they are actually awful. It's the same with spirits, really. Don't get a really cheap spirit because they are actually awful. You can always, trade up. But yeah, getting really expensive ones, I don't know if there's any value in it. But yeah. But that's going to be my little experiment. I'm going to set up the camera so I can have a video for my YouTube channel, and you all get to watch the unedited version of me getting ready and mixing these drinks. And then Mrs. Angry is going to help me out in doing a blind taste test. And I'll see, if I can tell which one's the overproof one, which one's the expensive normal proof one, and which one's the bog standard Jim Beam, and then also just which one I prefer. Just for fun. And also because after that, I'll have 3 Manhattans to drink, which will see me through the rest of this live stream. I think I'm just going to, time flies. Almost the first hour gone. God, you people are very entertaining. I didn't realize that much time had gone, actually. Also, I'm feeling good that I'm not drinking these too fast as well. Taking half an hour to finish a drink. That's refined. I love oh, Loogie, thank you. Being a patron for $5 a month. That is very kind of you, and I appreciate it. What's your beverage of choice, Loogie? I'm gonna make a not necessarily tonight. I need time to think about it. But as you're becoming my first patron, I'm gonna make a cocktail in your honor. Make it your signature drink, or if you so choose. But so you got to let me know what's your beverage of choice, where you live, and if there's anything about your life, your personality that you think the drink should try and capture. There you go. I'm going to make you a custom drink. You have to tell me what your favorite spirit is or liqueur, where you live, and if you want me to try and capture something about your life or your personality. There you go. It's Angry's Custom Drink Hour. Like I said, not necessarily tonight because I'm going to be drinking a bunch of Manhattans, but yes, Gecko, cheap wine. There's box wine. Goon, as we call it. Okay, whiskey. Whiskey is a great starting point. Canadian whiskey. Okay, I don't actually have any Canadian whiskies, but Canadian is very similar to American rye whiskies. So when I make something, I'll make it with rye. But yes, you'll definitely be able to, if I get something that tastes good, you'll be able to make it with Canadian whiskey because Canadian whiskies are quite similar to American rye whiskies. So not as sweet as bourbon. The main difference between rye and bourbon, bourbon's sweeter, rye has a little bit of a spicy edge. You can, like not hot spicy, but you can actually taste like a herb and spice type profile in rye whiskey. Stella, good evening to you. All right, that one's gone. I think I will now start setting up to do my Manhattan taste test. I'll just have to get a bunch of stuff ready. Put this glass out of the way. Just before I start getting too fast, I'm going to check what my Bible here says for a Manhattan, because I trust this guy. What he says the ratios should be. Martini, Maple Manhattan, 40-46. Okay. No, that is not actually it. 46, 49. All right, where's the actual fucking Manhattan recipe, man? Make my life Manhattan 49, 86 and 99. What's an 86? Ugh, no, 99. Dude, where's the goddamn actual Manhattan in here? Those are just references to a Manhattan. 101, 107. Okay. Page 101. Here we are. This is it. Manhattan. Okay, a bunch of variations of a Manhattan. The Manhattan, okay, 2 ounce. Now, he says rye. I'm going to do bourbon, which could be regarded as sacrilege, but that's that. 2 ounces of whiskey, 1 ounce, it says sweet vermouth. Do I have 3 ounces of sweet vermouth left? And then bitters, 2 dashes bitters. All right, first thing I need to do is measure how much sweet vermouth I have left, if I can actually make this. All right. There might be 3 ounces in there. Might be. Let's see, shall we? What's this? Ooh, I'm going to come up just short, I think. I think we'll be fine, actually. I think I've got almost exactly 3 ounces left. And I've just done something silly, and I need to get a funnel so I can pour it back in. Okay. It's all under control. Any appearances to the contrary are your imagination. Just going to put this back in here. Root. Okay. Okay, so I want to keep this out because I do want the sweet vermouth, and I've got enough. Just got to put the gin And chartreuse back. Gin. We'll get the big old Bogan Heaven Jim Beam from Costco. Almost ready, all these. Stella, don't substitute with driver myth. Laura, hello, how are you? Ice has melted a little. That's still good for mixing. All right. Now, I decided which two I was going to use, didn't I? Going to use this overproof one. Almost 66% alcohol. That is a really high proof bourbon. All right. Broke the little fancy wax seal. It really was a wax seal. There's a little screw top under here. I'm going to get these all ready so there's no mucking about later. Get everything ready. This is giving me shit. Why can I not get this to open? I'm going to have to use my bloody multi... There we go. That broke the seal. There we go. What's this smell like? That is, yes, hand sanitizer, Mega Leech. Laura, like a car, tired and exhausted. Nice. That's actually a pretty elegant smell. Oh, she's warm going. Oh, she's warm. Holy cow. Oh my God, she's warm going down, that one. Actually, where did I put my phone? It's here. Just want to check something about this particular tipple. I need to, my poor old eyes. And here, this whiskey in this, the whiskey in this package is the higher grade. Yeah, it is bourbon. It's not rye. It's just the bite is from the bloody overproof nature of it. And the other one I'm going to use is Jim Beam Small Batch. A mere 40% standard bourbon. Loogie, AIDS is not well at the moment. I honestly could not give you a timeline of when we'll see AIDSy again, because things got on top of him a little, and he's not well. For all I know, he's in hospital at the moment, actually, because I haven't heard from him. But I honestly couldn't give you a timeline of when we'll see AIDS again. So the Jim Beam Small Batch, very light on the nose. Bit easy going, man. Overproof whiskey really freaking burns going down. I'll tell you that for free. Okay, so we're going to do 2 ounces of each of them, 1 ounce of the vermouth, splash of Angostura bitters. I've got to get my Angostura bitters. Of all the bitters in the world, where's my Angostura? Is it back here? It's back here. Your classic Angostura bitters. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to set my camera up over there. My audio recorder up over here. This will just take a minute. I'll just set this up over here. Here we go. I call this, it's not a hot shoe. Or is it a hot shoe? A bit that connects onto the tripod anyway. Get the old camera happening. Okay. Put this on the tripod. Try and aim it up nicely. Yes, Steve. Oh, good Lord. I never sneeze just once. Okay. I think that's probably about right. Well, I want to close this blind, actually. I'm going to close this blind. A bit more neutral in the background. Oh, where's my camera? Gotta do this. See how the framing is. That's pretty good. Got my formal Friday look for a video. Oh look, and I'll just do this. So you get a really unflattering angle, which is great. My ass looks like two badly packed Volkswagen Beetles. They're very well packed Volkswagen Beetles. Bert, hello. Is Aidsy sick with the Rona? Honestly, he could be. I haven't heard from him for a while. Just for the chat. So we don't want someone to punch you in the face right now. Just so you can feel something? Is that it? Okay, I'm going to need Mrs. Angry in a minute, so I'll just see if she's ready. Are you going to be ready in a couple minutes? Couple minutes. All right. My very helpful assistant is going to be ready in a couple minutes. Okay, I'm going to clean up this bloody wax here. Chuck that in the bin. Look. Oh, can you see that? What's all the wax from the seals on those two little bottles? Just going to chuck it in the bin. Right. Now, I just want to work out in my head. I'm going to stir it. I don't need that. Get that out of the way. Vermouth. Bitters. Right. Okay, I need to turn this phone off for a start. Right. Okay, so all ready. So you're got to amuse yourselves in the chat because I won't be paying attention for a little while. Good on your camera for switching off with your battery saving mode. Got to switch it back on now. So I'm going to be talking to the camera. All right. All right, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to put another light on. Just to make the light a bit more brighter lights. Bright lights. Flared out a bit on here now, but the camera will adjust. G'day cocktail lovers, how are you? I hope you're keeping well and I hope you're interested in another comparison video. In this video, I'm going to do another classic cocktail, the Manhattan, and I'm going to make it with 3 different bourbons. Now, some purists might say, no, you make a rye with, you use rye to make a Manhattan. And yes, arguably so, but I wanted to do this comparison I've had in mind for a while because a lot of people say you should use just the best quality ingredients in cocktails. And you shouldn't use cheap garbage in a cocktail, but I think going for a really expensive one is not necessary. But we'll actually do a direct comparison to test that because I'm going to make the Manhattan, which is a lovely, simple drink. It's really just a whiskey and vermouth. And I'm going to make it with 3 different sorts of bourbon, all made by Jim Beam. Bog standard Jim Beam, the special one, the Jim Beam small batch, and particularly special one, I got these in a little gift pack. This one's called Booker's. It's a 66% alcohol, so like 130 proof bourbon, very high end. And then I'm going to get Mrs. Angry to help me. I'm going to do a blind taste of each of the Manhattans I make and see if I can tell the difference between them. I think there'll definitely be a difference between them, but then also, but what the fuck? Sorry, my camera just went off. Why would it do that? Did I not actually hit record? Well, that was a warm-up. That was a warm-up. I think a technical problem. And that actually reminds me, I didn't put my audio recorder on either. So Clown Central. It's Clown Central here on the bloody Angry Aussie live stream. All right, so Gecko, you think I actually look better on the live stream with the thing on? All right, Clown Central. I'm going to try again. Get this happening. This is probably because I had a couple cocktails already. Yes, the framing's still there. All right. Record, bitch. All right, it's recording. That foolishness. We'll do take 2. All right. You get to see the unedited foolishness. The people watching it on YouTube will never know. G'day, cocktail lovers. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. Hope you're in the mood for some more cocktails. I'm going to be making the classic Manhattan in this video, but for a twist, I'm doing a taste comparison. See, a lot of people say, well, you should use just the best quality ingredients in cocktails. I don't really agree with that. You shouldn't use cheap and horrible ingredients, but I don't think you need to go for top-end spirits and liqueurs simply because you're mixing and getting different flavor profiles. That's a theory I've had, and I've not really done a lot of direct comparisons. So in this video, I'm going to make 3 different Manhattans with 3 different bourbons. Now, purists will say it should be rye in a Manhattan. So yes, I would actually agree with that. But I got a little gift pack of bourbons. Well, I bought it for myself after Christmas. When it didn't get given to someone as a Christmas gift, I picked it up cheap. And it had 4 high-end bourbons made by the people who make Jim Beam. So I'm going to make 1 Manhattan with just bog standard Jim Beam bourbon, 1 with this Jim Beam small batch, still 40% alcohol, but then 1 with this overproof by the name of Booker's. It's like 66% alcohol, so 130 proof bourbon, pretty serious stuff. So this obviously much more expensive than your standard Jim Beam. So I'm going to make the 3, and then Mrs. Angry is going to help me do a blind taste test, and we'll see if I can tell the difference. I think I'll be able to tell the difference, but it'll be interesting to see when I don't know what I'm drinking, which one I prefer, and if I can tell which one's the standard Jim Beam, which one's the small batch, and which one's the overproof. I think maybe I will, but I've never tried this before. So we'll see how that goes. First, I'm going to make a standard Manhattan. All right. Bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. Right. Gonna get this. What you doing? Who is that and what you doing? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll tell you when. Sorry, that's Mrs. Angry trying to help me. She's just a bit early. Okay. Yeah. So first, from the incredibly stylish, oversized Costco Jim Beam bottle, 2 ounces of your whiskey. This is a stirred cocktail, so putting it into my stirring glass with some nice big chunks of ice in there. Now I'm doing 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. This is a particularly nice Australian vermouth called Medini, but you can get whichever one you like. So we're going to go 1 ounce of this. And then just 2 dashes of good old Angostura bitters. Now we stir that. and we strain it into a chilled glass. And yes, this is not the sort of glass you would normally serve a Manhattan in, but I wanted 3 of the same, and this is what I had handy. Now, I'm going to do the same with the other Whiskies. Okay, small batch, Jim Beam, 2 ounces. Oh, that's most of what's in there, 2 ounces. Little bit left, can make something else with that later. All right, so I'm just going to fast forward this for the video. So I'll go 2 ounces of that, 1 ounce of the sweet vermouth, and 2 dashes of Angostura. I hope I get the balance of Angostura right each time, because that could really affect the... And I got to remember what I do with these as well. Okay, you should go over here. Okay, so you should go here. Bourbon. Stir that down. Oh, that's a very rich flavour in that. Another chilled glass out. Ooh. Do you have a pen handy? All right. So Mrs. Angry is going to write some sticky notes so she knows which of these drinks she's giving me. That one. And finally, yon overproofy. Why did you do that, Mimsy? Mimsy came in one door and is now making noise to go out another one. It's really obnoxious, Mimsy. 2 ounces of this little beauty. Just a little bit left in there. Here we go. You are an obnoxious cat, Mimsy. I'm just saying it. And now I've got to put the 1 ounce of this. What's the bet? This comes up short. Yep, it did. So now I'm not going to get an absolute... Okay, so I'm going to put Cinzano in there. Almost ready. This is not completely fair, but that'll do. Cinzano, bitters. Okay, stir. A Rick and Morty tie. I'd like a Rick and Morty tie. I haven't bought a new tie in ages because I don't wear them anymore. All right. Okay. The glass. All right. Strain this one. All right. All right. All right. Now, first thing I want Mrs. Angry help with, if you want to write some notes, one should say Jim Beam. One should say Jim Beam. Give me that one. Next one should say small batch. Shut up, Stove, honestly. And the next should say overproof. This is the exciting bit. I'm going to do a blind test now. Now, if you come in and stand next to the fridge, now can see. So it's Jim Beam, small batch, overproof. So I'm going to blindfold myself now. Now, you won't be on camera if you just pick those up and hand them to me. So I've got to put on my blindfold. Right, where am I? Here. Okay, so you understand what you're doing. Pick them in whatever order you want and put one in my hand. And then you have to remember which order you gave them to me in. Is that clear?
Yeah.
All right, Mrs. Angry is now going to help me with a blind taste test. Please give me a Manhattan. All right, there we go. Can I find my mouth with a blindfold? Oh, that's very pleasant and mild. So I don't think it's the overproof. Oh, we'll see. One more, please.
I'm just having a little taste.
Oh, okay. It's perfectly okay. Mrs. Angry's allowed to have a taste. Okay, try this one. Also very pleasant and not very brutal. Okay. So my weakness is I like a Manhattan, so I think I'm going to enjoy all of them no matter what. And the final one. Okay, well, I'll tell you one thing for free. The Medini Vermouth has completely tamed the bourbons. I thought the overproof would be really obvious, and it isn't. Like, as in, it didn't burn going down. Now I'm going to take my first guess. Mrs. Angry, is this the Jim Beam?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It honestly did not taste as refined as the others. Give me another one now. Okay. Ooh, okay. And then the other one, I'm going to make my final estimation. You give me the third one. Okay. Oh, is this the overproof?
Yes.
There you go. I got it. 3 out of 3. The other one was a small batch. They're all good. Seriously, if you really like your bourbon, geez, overproof kicks it up into a different realm. The vermouth, I'm going to take this off. I've completed the blind taste test. Were you tasting them all as well?
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer?
I don't really like them that much.
Okay, yeah, you're not a bourbon drinker. That's fine.
But I agree that the Jim Beam was the least pleasant.
Yeah, so that is somewhat putting the lie to my theory, because I thought, yeah, just use Jim Beam. That's what I always use. But we both picked out that the bog standard Jim Beam's like, yeah, it's definitely not bad. It's a really nice drink. The vermouth really helps it. But we could both tell that the Jim Beam was the cheapest. It was the least appealing of the three. Look, I've started a tradition when I'm comparing that I go double fisting. That was for the thumbnail. This is small batch. The overproof is if you are a serious whiskey drinker, honestly. It's nice, but it really has the kick and the burn. The vermouth, a good vermouth tames it quite well. I'm probably going to go with a small batch as my favorite, but it's going to come down to if you want a serious drink, use an overproof whiskey. But my favorite just in taste of the three was the small batch. And I put the lie to my own thing about the cheaper ones aren't that bad. Could really tell the difference. It's still a nice drink, but I could easily tell which one was your bog standard Jim Beam. So yeah, if you try a similar experiment, I'd love to hear the results. Let me know in the comments what your go-to on the whiskey front is. And I look forward to you coming along again soon. I'll probably do another taste test comparison because this is fun because I get multiple cocktails to drink. But I'm going to see the night out now. I've got 3 Manhattans to drink. Woe is me. Look, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Do the little bell ring thing so you get notifications. Tell your friends, hit the like, and just, look, come back, enjoy life. That's what it's all about. Cheers. All right. Done. Donezo. All right. I'll switch all this stuff off and then pay attention to you fine people again. Hang on. Woo. Okay. Woo. Okay. Let's get this sorted again. Got them flared out a bit. I need to adjust the camera a bit. Jim Beam, where's your lid? Jim Beam, there's your lid. Okay. Well, that was a fun experiment. I don't think I'm going to undo my top button now too. Woo! Okay, now I'm also going to adjust this camera a little bit. Whoa. Gotta find the controls for it. That's actually a little bit of fiddling about. Advanced settings. Okay. I need to go adjust this exposure. What's that? There we go. Ooh, that's looking very sharp, isn't it? And then maybe a bit more saturation color-wise. Ooh, maybe even a little bit more. Give me a human flesh tone rather than this zombie white. That's my normal. Maybe adjust the white balance a little bit. Ooh, that's too much. That'll do. That'll do. Okay. Well, that was a fun little experiment. Yes, with the lights on, you can see my bar. Yes. And the fridge and the other things, yes. So, yeah. Okay, I'm slightly surprised. It was actually quite easy to tell which one was the bog standard Jim Beam. Gecko, my kids, when they like 10 years ago, when they were very young, they appeared in a few of my videos, but they never really had their own stuff on YouTube. Who's come in and said good evening? Safa, good evening to you. Oh. It's perfect. This is good. Okay, cool. So I've got 3 whiskey cocktails to drink. That's okay. That's something. I'll be here for as long as it takes. 9:30 already. Ooh. No, I'll just put this here. Actually, that's the overproof one. Yeah, the overproof one has a bit of burn, as you would expect from an overproof drink. Oof. But yeah, the vermouth tames it, definitely. But this is definitely a whiskey lover's drink. The Manhattan is a whiskey lover's drink. If you're not, and Mrs. Angry is not into the whiskeys, so she was not particularly into that. Oh, no, you're right, Gecko. The blinds are missing some teeth. They're very old, and some of them fell out. You are absolutely right. Fucking ghetto set dressing here on the Angry Aussie live stream, basically. I should put like my fucking green screen behind me so it blocks everything out. But I can't be bothered. So you get things. Loogie, you're a whiskey. That's right. You're saying you're a whiskey man. So we've got to get back to, I've got to put some thought into a signature drink for you. So I'm going to make it with rye whiskey. Is there anything else you like? Any fruit flavors? Do you like spicy things? And where are you from? Or what's something about you that should be captured in a signature drink for you? Okay, Stella's another whiskey fan. Yeah, I'm not a martini, but like a Manhattan's basically a martini, but with whiskey. Martini is gin or vodka with vermouth. Manhattan is whiskey and vermouth. It's the same profile. And yeah, maybe if you want a bit of flavor in a martini, you have a dirty martini, use the brine from an olive jar. With a Manhattan, use bitters. Ah, it's a good whiskey drink. If you like whiskey, that is a good whiskey drink. Because it really, the vermouth tames the whiskey a bit, but it does not hide it. It absolutely does not hide the whiskey. A lot of things, if you particularly, I mean, honestly, like as I've said before, one of my favorites is the whiskey sour, and the sweetener and the lemon juice do mask a lot of the whiskey taste in a whiskey sour, and so even people who aren't whiskey drinkers will enjoy a whiskey sour. But this is definitely a whiskey drinkers one. Adele, you're off. Thank you for dropping by. Fabulous as always. Oh, Gecko, you see, you're assuming that I can be bothered to fix them. I appreciate the tip. I appreciate the tip muchly. And I did keep the ones that fell out, but yeah. Indiana. Ooh, Indiana local drinks. Okay, we're going there, Loogie. Okay, Okay, try that again. Indiana. I'm going to Indiana cocktail. Indiana cocktail recipes from Cardinal Spirits. Let's see what type of things are apparently Indiana cocktails. Ooh, there's a book of Indiana cocktail recipes with 85 pages, 40 cocktails. Oh, that's a book. I don't want a book. Oh, wait a sec. Maybe it'll show me some things. A bramble, that's a standard one. Okay, no, I need to look further afield than that. That's not telling me. Indiana's 2015 cocktail is the Indianapolis Star. Hoosier Heritage by Jason Fust. Oh, wait. What's it doing here? What demollyfuck is going on here? Okay. Hoosier Heritage by Jason Herod from the North End Barbecue. Knob Creek. Okay, rye whiskey. Yeah, you said you like Canadians. That's rye. Maple, lemon, and apple cider. Okay. Okay, I can do something with that. I might do Applejack, which is an American apple brandy. So that would be, yeah, I could do, yeah, just lemon. That would be like rye whiskey, Applejack, and lemon with sweetener. I've got maple syrup. I could put maple syrup in. Yeah, I could. That's a strong contender. The unofficial signature cocktail for all 50 states. What does this say for Indiana? Alabama. Alaska. The duck fart. Good on you, Alaska. California, got to work my way. It's alphabetical. Got to get down to Indiana. Indiana. Oh, the Jaeger bomb. That's shit. You got to get something better than that, Louie. All right. I reckon I'll do you a variant. The Loogie. going to be a rye whiskey, and I'm going to guess. Okay, I'm not going to make it tonight because I've got too much to get through in terms of drinks, and I won't be on tomorrow night because it's date night with Mrs. Angry tomorrow night. But I might be on Sunday, sometime in the next week, Loogie. I'm going to make the Loogie cocktail, and it's going to be Rittenhouse rye, Applejack brandy, lemon juice, and maple syrup. And I'm betting now that's going to be pretty good. You can get an international. Safa, never heard of vermouth. It's what they call an aromatized wine. It's a wine-based drink, and it's infused with herb and fruit flavors, depending what it is. And then you had to change it. I should have got you on camera in it. Sorry. You just have to get, like, I could drive in the US if I got an international license, and I think an American can drive here if they get an international license. All right, so that's settled. Loogie, sometime, as I say, not tonight, even though this live stream is going to go a bit long. This is still only the first of 3 Manhattans I've got to work my way through. I might put a block of ice in the other 2, actually, from the mixer. But yeah, no, I'm going to do Rittenhouse, because you said you like Canadian whiskey. Rye is like Canadian, but I'll put some maple syrup in for the Canadian touch. So it's going to be Rittenhouse rye, Applejack, which is American apple brandy, lemon juice, and maple syrup. Saf, of whom would it be harder to drive, US and Australia, Australia and US? I don't think that's straight down the thing, because of course we drive on opposite sides of the road. And from what I've been told, that is quite an adjustment. Not so much, you start off and you go, I'm going straight, this is fine. I know I'm in America, I drive on the right-hand side. Where people often have problems is when they turn at intersections, either turning left or turning right. People will often make the mistake of going into the wrong lane when they do that. No, I don't think I drove at all in America. I did drive in the UK, but of course they drive on the left-hand side of the road. I got an international license, so I was allowed to drive in the UK. I did not drive in America. I did go for some drives, but I had local people driving me. I think I dropped a bit of the bloody, what can I say? I tell you what, like I said, the vermouth did take the sting out of this overproof stuff, but it's still got a sting. I'll tell you what, I might make this little bit that's left over on another live stream. I might make a sour with that, because that's fucking serious, quite honestly. I mean, overproof things generally are pretty serious. Stella, you had an international license, Nara, and never left backpack. I never had to show it to anyone. I never got pulled over. Ah, yes, Gecko Crown Royal has a maple flavored whiskey. Yeah, there are a few flavored whiskeys out there. I actually, I mentioned earlier, in fact, just today or yesterday, I don't remember when I did it, today or yesterday, I ordered off a website an Australian Starward whiskey, old fashioned, bottled. So it's like 500 mils, and it's a really good price because it's a fuckload of cocktails that cost about $50. So it's like 500 mils. So that's like fucking 5 or more cocktails for the price of like 2 or 3. So it's a pretty good deal. And it's, made with Australian whiskey from Starward and Australian bitters. I don't know how much an international license costs. Probably not too hard to find out on Google or something, but yeah. Okay, what kind of car do I drive? My current car, in fact, which is Holden Cruise in Europe. It's an Opel. What? Is back to front. So it's not really an Australian car. It's a European car that got rebadged for Australia. The Holden Cruise. I think it's an Opel in Europe. I'm not sure if it's even on the market in America. In England, I think it's a Vauxhall. It's the same car, it just gets badged differently. Oh, thanks, Kirsten. That's 10 cocktails. There you go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and it's like $50. So it's like the price of 2, 3 cocktails. I'm getting 10 cocktails. Fuck yeah. And really good, Starwood's really good quality. So, yay. Looking forward to that arriving. It's my birthday this weekend, so I bought it as a birthday present for myself. So, oh, Stella, you didn't even have the car hire company want to see it. I can't remember if the car hire company wanted to see my license because I was with an English bloke, so they might have just checked his. Ah, Kirsten, you're biased. You work for Starwood, but that's fine. This is I've tasted Starwood whiskies before, but because as I was saying before, I'm trying to get more Australian beverages in my little home cocktail cart. Yeah, and I just saw this. It was actually a pre-mixed old fashioned, which you work for Starwood. I'm sure you're aware of what you're talking about, of what I'm talking about. It seemed like a good deal. Don't dox myself. Well, I will only go so far as to say it's not the same day as Hitler. So I'm telling you one day in the next couple of days that it isn't. And yes, for those who want to know, Hitler's birthday is April 20th. And if I happen to do, that's Monday, I guess. If I happen to do a live stream on Monday, it's not going to make a reference to Hitler's birthday. So, yeah. So, yes, I'm looking forward to my latest indulgences were the Starwood Old Fashioned, bottled Old Fashioned, and the another Australian vermouth. So we'll see how that goes. Because I just used the last of my sweet Madini. I do have classic Madini in the fridge, but I'm very interested to see this other Australian one. So I think what other? Oh, obviously we were talking before about gins, but I've got a big fucking thing of Tanqueray there. Gecko, you've driven halfway across the US. As a passenger, I've gone from the long drives I've done in the US. I've gone from San Francisco to Los Angeles, so right up the California coast, or down the California coast, depending which way you want to describe it. And I've also driven from Las Vegas to Colorado. That goes through quite a few states. And I've gone on a bus from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. So that's the only part of the US I've been in, the West Coast, and just inland from the West Coast. I would so love to explore more of the US. Hey, Chantel, how you doing? Or Europe, for that matter. I've never been on mainland Europe, and I've got so many internet friends in Europe I'd love to visit, and I'd just like to see some of Europe. I've done a bit of touring around the UK. Last time I went there, I meant to go to Ireland to see one of my oldest YouTube friends, and I didn't manage to. I was quite disappointed by that. That's right, I was going to put some ice in these ones. Where's my mixing glass? Still got big chunks of ice in it. I'm gonna put that ice in there and that ice in there. I'm gonna drink the standard Jim Beam first because I think the small batch is better. So I'll finish off with that. Stella, you've done Melbourne to Perth. I've done Melbourne to Adelaide, and I've done Melbourne to Brisbane. I have only flown to Perth. I haven't driven to Perth. Chantel, you did a 2-hour Zoom, did a 500ml vodka lime soda. Holy cow. That's pretty serious, Chantel. That's pretty serious. Oh, God, Chantel, you do Brisbane to Bendigo. That is, like I said, I've done Melbourne to Brisbane. That's a long drive. That is a long-ass drive. Rottweiler dude, for lunch you had tomato habanero pepper, mango habanero sauce with black pepper and cheese and toast. Wow, dude. Fucking woo. That is gourmet shit you making there, brother. That is good. What did I have? I had sausages. I had a sausage. I was pretending I was at Bunnings, but I was at home. I had a sausage sandwich. I was slightly more sophisticated for dinner. I made a sort of mix of a potato, mushroom, and sausage thing. It was not, no. Yours, God, dude. No, yours was gourmet. I've been eating shit today. Oh, dear. Kirsten, you've done Perth to Kununurra. Nice. Jesus, Chantal, you do Brisbane to Bendigo on your own 2-day trip. I was the only driver on my trip from Melbourne to Brisbane. My kids were on the drive, but they obviously weren't driving. They were very young at the time. So, and we did stop in Dubbo where I was born and grew up, and we saw my family. But yeah, that is a long ass drive. So if one of your friends did Northeast Vic to Byron Bay, yeah, that's a bit of a drive. Safa, you had sausages. Nice. Mine was actually, my dinner was sausage, mushroom, and potato hash brown. This stuff I got from Costco, like fucking survival food, freeze-dried hash browns that you have to rehydrate. That's me pouring a kettle, by the way. I don't know why I felt like miming but I did. Poured that in. No, while this is just the Jim Beam in the Manhattan, and that overproof is fierce. Kind of prefer. This is not bad. This is not bad at all. But the burn from the overproof I kind of prefer. Eh? Oh yeah, Chantel's Whiskey Adventures tonight. You missed out. I did a comparison. I made the same drink in Manhattan with standard Jim Beam. Then, because I had this little gift box of these little bottles, made Jim Beam small batch, which is expensive Jim Beam, and this overproof 65.65% alcohol bourbon, so 130 proof bourbon. Then I put this blindfold on and did a blind taste test. Mrs. Angry helped, and I got it right. I could tell which one was the Jim Beam straight away. I had to have a second taste of the small batch and the overproof to be sure, but I picked the overproof right. So I was pretty impressed. I got 3 for 3. But I probably prefer the one made with small batch out of the 3. And I do prefer the overproof over the bog standard. It's just got more character. This is Jim Beam and Vermouth is nice. But the other ones have more character. Top pick, Jim Beam small batch. But if you're a fucking serious whiskey drinker, you want to make it with overproof. Overproof just kicks it up a notch. But I'm not that serious a whiskey drinker. I do prefer the overproof to just the bog standard Jim Beam. Put the light in my thing that you don't need to buy expensive. So at some point, because I've got 2 more expensive whiskies, this one, another overproof one, not quite as over the top, is like 55% alcohol. No, 53.5%. So that's 107 proof bourbon, and This one's just standard 40%, but it's aged 8 years. So on another, probably I like doing them on live streams, recording them on live streams and editing it for my cocktail channel. Angry Cocktails, if you're not subscribed, just subscribe. First new channel I've started in 10 years. Oh, dude, Loogie, you had too much to drink. Got to settle your stomach. Okay, yeah, don't overdo it, bro. Do not overdo it. That's why I'm just pacing myself with these. Not so the live stream is going to go long. Often I do like 2 hours, 8 to 10. It's almost 10 now, and I've got 1.5 cocktails to go. So I'm here for at least half an hour to an hour. But it's the weekend, so we can do that. And I'm getting a bit loose with Formal Friday at this point. The top button's undone. The vest is undone. Up to the second of 3 Manhattans. And I did actually have 2 cocktails before these, so bit of a Friday night going on here. Chantel, you like Jack Daniels or Chivas Regal? Yes. Yeah. Oh, you even made one of the cocktails, Chantel. Nice. Thank you. Okay, Gecko, on the road, making money. Look after yourself, my friend. Stella, you did Melbourne, Brisbane via Coonabarabran with your dad and grandfather. When I was a kid, there was honestly, it was probably a really shitty tourist attraction called Miniland at Coonabarabran. But I grew up in Dubbo, so Miniland was fucking cool. They had like dinosaur-themed attractions. Nothing happens in Dubbo, so Miniland was fucking cool. Jesus fuck. Loogie, no more for you. 14 hours of drinking. Yeah, dude, throttle down, my friend. Throttle down. This is only 2 hours of drinking for me. Sometimes on a Friday, I'll even have a drink before a live stream, but not tonight. I didn't drink at all till I got on the live stream. But yeah, it's like I'm drinking in moderation. This is my 4th cocktail, and I've got 1 more to go. So not really drinking in moderation tonight. Particularly when the previous one was an overproof. So it's not quite twice as high as a normal bourbon, but it's not that far off it. Chantel, you're 2 hours in. Nice. Oh, nice, Chantel. You've got a special crocheted hack T-shirt on. Excellent. Excellent. We need to do that. Who is not already on the Facebook group, the bin isolation outing? That is such a fucking funny Facebook group. What I love is the person who hosted it. It's like, hey, we thought a few people would join, and now there's like 700,000 people in the. I feel like that's a big number, but I think that's the actual number. Now I'm compelled to look it up because I'm not sure how clouded my memory is. Looking up Facebook. Okay. Oh, my notifications. People reacted to my photo, reacted to my video. Sarah reacted to my Applewood comment. Old school YouTubers. That's the other group I fucking love at the moment. Old school YouTubers. Bin. Where's bin outings? Where's bin outings? Ugh, I gotta find it. Okay. Whatever. Bin isolation outing. Christ, 900,000 members. Someone just started this group as a fucking laugh like a week ago, and now the group's got 900,000 members in it. Fuck me. That's wild. The other one I'm really enjoying is old school YouTubers. Someone started that up about a week ago, and I'm just having this amazing nostalgia trip as people go, oh, I remember such and such. And I go, oh, I'd completely forgotten them. Oh my God. I'm really enjoying that. Annette, Dubbo Zoo is good, actually. Even as a Dubbo person who went there heaps, I didn't get bored. Dubbo Zoo is good. The Western Plains Zoo is good. Stella wants to know how an emu stole your lunch, Annette. Well, the thing is, there are a few beasties who roam around wild, notably various kangaroos and wallabies, also some deer. But yeah, I think some emus just roam around as well. Trying to think what else. My family holiday when I was a kid was from Dubbo to the coast of New South Wales near Newcastle, the Port Stephens area. We went to a place. Okay, I'm going to look it up on maps now. How far was the trip we used to take for holidays? Looking it up on Google Maps. We're going to go from Dubbo. I want to do a trip. Directions from Boat Harbour, New South Wales. Yep, that's it. Fucking 12 hours. 12 fucking hours. That is a really weird way they go, though. We didn't go via Sydney. Apparently, with new roads, that's the quickest way to go. We used to go via Mudgee, I think. Yeah, no, we used to go via Muswellbrook. No, can't come up. Got to add a destination. Options. Best route, wheelchair accessible. No, I've got to add a fucking option. Oh, Christ, I'm too drunk to handle you, Google Maps. But 12 hours sounds right anyway. Where's this one? No, that's it. We used to go via Muswellbrook. How do I add a destination, for fuck's sake? I can't deal with this now. That's okay. Safi, your mum's 2 hours from Melbourne? I don't know. What do I think of the Ruby Princess fiasco? It's a fiasco. It's an absolute fiasco. All right. Lou, take a nap, bro. Take a fucking nap. Abigail, hello. How are you? So nice to see you. Of all the things I've got to do when this fucking isolation shit stops is catch up with Abigail. I think I've got Abigail. I have to hire you to be my technical consultant. I have to find out how much you charge per hour, because we had to talk about a few things, and you are far more in tune with these technical things than I am. So I think I need to actually hire you as a consultant. And hang out, because you're fun to hang out with. I think the last time we hung out, we had dumplings, didn't we? It's one of those things you do occasionally. I was in the city just going, I'm going to hang around. I don't have lunch. Is anyone around? Does anyone want to have lunch? And Abigail said, I'm here. And Abigail chose. We had this really nice dumpling place. I think that was the last time we actually caught up in person. I'm not sure. Dumplings, yes, thank you. Yeah, Chantel, funds to hangouts. I think, I think when this isolation shit is over, I'm going to organize a fucking party. Just people who want to get together and hang, have a day thing in a park, whether it's like in Fed Square or Treasury Gardens or something. It's like a daytime hangout for people who just want to hang out and be with other humans, because we haven't been able to do it for so long. And then for people who want to fucking go out and we do that later in the evening. Yeah, we might get less restrictions for weeks. I was talking this over with Mrs. Angry, like what will they do in what order? And because she's smarter than me, basically. The first thing is probably they'll stop being worried about schools. They go, okay, go back to school. Second thing is probably they'll say, okay, we're going to let cafes and restaurants open, but with those restrictions we had before. about 4 square meters for each person. So cafe or restaurant covers 100 square meters. They can only have 20 people in there. And the next one after that is probably, okay, everyone can go back to work, because public transport's going to be gross and crowded. God, won't that be weird? Like, it'll be nice hanging out with people, but going on public transport again will be gross and weird, and just assuming everyone's reeking with disease. And then maybe they'll reduce the restrictions on cafes and restaurants, and then they'll let the bars and pubs open, and then they'll let major events happen. But that's going to take months. It's like in 4 weeks, they'll do a little relaxation, like you won't get in trouble for going to a friend's house. Megally, she's saying it's 5 hours from Dubbo to Boat Harbour via Muswellbrook. Why the fuck did Google Maps send me on a 12-hour thing then? That doesn't make any sense. Yes, Arthur, I don't think I've been on public transport in a month either. Last time I went in the city, I drove in. Yeah, and it's going to be fucking gross. You'll be on public transport, and there'll be all these people, and you'll be going, fuck, this is fucked up. I'm sure they've all got diseases. Why the fuck am I, why am I next to these strangers who have diseases? But I reckon it'll be a couple months before we're doing that. But it's going to be like, in 4 weeks, they're going to consider relaxing something, but then they've got to relax something, and then they're going to have to wait 3-4 weeks to see what that does to the infection rate. And if it's all still good, then they relax the next thing. And then you've got to wait 3-4 weeks to see what that does to the infection rate. And if that's all good, then you relax the next thing. So the overall relaxing of everything is going to take absolute minimum 6 months, if not 12 months. And if we get either that increases your chances of surviving coronavirus, or vaccine, which is actually far less likely, then they'll relax more. And of course, the final thing that's going to be relaxed is the international borders, letting people travel internationally again. That'll be the final thing to be relaxed. But I reckon, fuck, the next year is going to be so fucking weird. The thing is, the month, Annette, no one's even considering relaxing anything in less than a month. But the next month will tell us, did Easter make things worse? Like, did people actually get together? Did they go to churches? Did they have family gatherings that they weren't meant to? The infections in the next couple of weeks will tell us if Easter made things worse. If Easter made things worse, they're not going to relax anything. But if we're still, if we maintain the real sort of ceiling on new cases, there will be some relaxation in 4 weeks, I reckon. But let's look at the map. The map with the numbers. The map with the numbers. What's it saying? What's the big map saying from Johns Hopkins? They're kind of trustworthy at Johns Hopkins. We'll see what they have to say. Oh, the US. Okay, coming up on 2.2 million. It's actually saying 2,172,000. Coming up on 2.2 million total cases, 670,000 in the US. So yeah, fucking a third, close enough to a third of all confirmed cases are in the US. Fucking hell. The US cracked up, sorry, the UK cracked 100,000. So the US, 671,000 cases, 33,000 deaths. So they're still running at 5%. That is really fucking high. That is not good. And I'm so worried about what's going to happen to the US in the next month or two. That's fucking not good. But the UK with 100,000, 105,000 cases, whoa, that's so much worse. Almost 14,000. Fucking hell. The UK is running at 10% fatalities? Are they not testing? Is that what that is? That's bad. That is really bad. The UK is really bad. What's the map for the rate of cases? Yeah, it's just it's shooting up. That is not good. Yeah, and if we believe China, China's been flat for a couple months. I'm not really into conspiracy theories about China, but I'm also okay with saying I don't necessarily believe they're telling us the complete truth. So Australia with 6,500 cases, 66 deaths, we're just running at 1%. Like, we're doing so much fucking better than almost anyone. Possibly doing better than us are across the pond in New Zealand, 1,400 cases and 11 deaths. Yeah, they are doing slightly better. But interesting one is Sweden, because Sweden was really lax. Like, they had hardly any limits on people. And I think that starts, oh no, oh yeah, no, there we go. Sweden with 12,500 cases, 1,300 deaths. They've got, that's a 10% fatality rate. And yeah, they're fucking charts going. Ours is like that. China's has been like that for 2 months. Ours has gone, and New Zealand's is, and the US is, and the UK is, and Sweden's, so it's going to be interesting. Like, to the end of May is going to be really, really telling. Yeah, Safa, I'm glad I'm in Australia. We're doing, we're going to share the screen. Okay, I'll share the screen. Let's look at the scary numbers. Chrome tab, COVID-19 map, share that shit. Okay, so if we go through the map, third of all cases in the US, 671,000 cases with 33,000. So it's like fucking 5% fatalities, which is bad. They've still only tested 1% of their fucking population. And you look at this chart, it just keeps going up, about 30,000 a day, 607, 636, 60. That's just been going up 30,000 a day for the last month. And they're not testing that much. So the actual real cases are going to be much higher. And there's probably a lot of deaths we don't know about as well. So the death rate is probably lower than 5% because their testing is so bad. But the UK, 104,000 cases, 13,000 and almost 800 deaths. That is over 10%. Unless and look, I am on my third Manhattan, so my maths might be lacking. But again, look at that. The fucking thing just keeps going up. The infection rate just keeps going up. Not good in the UK. But you look at the China one, again, don't really believe it. 83,000 cases, 4,500 deaths. So, you know, half. Yeah, that's only 0.5%. No, wait, that's 5%, isn't it? Fuck. Shit. Yeah, that's about 5%. But yeah, look at that. Look at that fucking graph. So flat. And that's since February. February, March, April is so flat. Yeah, but what happens when they release the lockdown? Because that's the joy of being a totalitarian state. You can seriously lock people down and you don't have to listen when they complain. But what happens when you release lockdown? Because that's the Singapore. Let's get Singapore. Japan. Japan's having a problem. Look at Japan. Fuck. Japan, 9,000 cases, 190 deaths. So a very low death rate so far, which is good, but the infection rate is spiking. So that does not bode well for Japan. Like, it's about to get out of control in Japan. Where's Singapore? Philippines? Singapore, okay. 5,000 cases, 10 deaths. Singapore locked down early and they relaxed it. Look at this fucking chart. Look at how sharp. That's a second wave of infections. The number of deaths that get reported in Singapore in the next 2 to 4 weeks is not looking good. That is not the way that, like, they controlled it, then they released the controls and shebang. Yeah, that is not looking good for Singapore. Remains to be seen. There's so much about this shit we don't fucking know. That's what weirds me out. We don't know so much. Luigi, I know you live in the US, my friend. I'm sorry for making you panic again, man. Oh, I am so worried for my friends in the US. And thanks to the magic of YouTube, I have a lot of friends in the US, and I really worry about that. Megaleaks, the y-axis is not the same, so comparing countries to like that doesn't work. I don't know what you mean, you fucking nerd. Here's the other one. The Google Maps one has infection rate per million of population. Am I sharing that? Let me stop and share. Google. Share. Now, the Google map shows infection per million people. You see, look, Australia with a nice 254 infections per million people. The US, almost 10 times more, over 2,000 cases per million people. Spain, almost 4,000, almost twice as bad as the US. Italy, slightly worse than the US. Germany, slightly better. France, slightly better. UK, slightly better in terms of infections per head of population. But the death rate in the UK is quite scary. See, China, 58 per. I don't know that I believe that. Iran is better than the US. Turkey's better than the US. Belgium's worse. Russia's better. I don't know that I believe that about Russia. Brazil, you can't believe a fucking word that comes out of Brazil. That fascist Bolsonaro is just fucking lying. Canada seems to be doing extremely well. Netherlands, Switzerland's worse than the US. There's Portugal, 1,000. That number from India is fucking bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit. India's going to be a fucking disaster in a month or two. That number's bullshit. They're just not testing anyone. Ireland is not doing well. Israel's not doing that well. Sweden, okay, 1,200 per million. Better than the US, but like 4 times worse than Australia. Peru seems to be doing, well, who knows what their testing is. South Korea, they're fairly sort of strict and totalitarian. Japan, I think, is about to get out of control. I don't know that that's really accurate. Chile, Ecuador, who's this bad? Denmark's not looking that good. Norway's not that good. Luxembourg, for whatever reason, has a high infection, very high, twice as bad as the US. Very high infection rate per head of population. Iceland is also bad. Small population. Bahrain. Well, that's a bad one. Andorra. Small population, fairly high infection rate. That's not good. That's about 4 times worse than... Jesus, San Marino. That's really fucking bad. Small population, but really high infection rate. Numbers, eh? Aren't numbers cool? I'm going to just stop that now. What's going on in Belgium? Luigi, you need a nap. Get out, brother. I am going to make, maybe on Sunday night, maybe next week, I'm going to make your signature drink. I'll only make it if you're in the chat. But it's going to be whiskey and Applejack and lemon juice and maple syrup. That's going to be a loogie. It's just for you. So I'm going to make that next time I'm on a live thing and you're on the live thing, I'm going to make that. Okay? There you go. That's the thing. Be a patron and I'll make you a signature drink. That's the thing I do. Yeah, that's the thing, Defensive Wounds. If they release restrictions, the thing, what they've got to be very careful, and I kind of think they will be, but they've got to be very careful and go, okay, we're going to release this restriction and then see what happens. Oh, Abigail, I didn't see the live stream. I saw you commenting that you were coding. I will try and catch up another time because it's like, I don't know, it's just a Friday. That's my excuse. I did see that you were doing the live stream where you were coding. I will try and catch if you're doing it again sometime. Yes, I'll leave it at that. I will try and catch another. I did not catch this one. I did see that you were doing it. You're on Twitch. I don't usually go on Twitch very much. It depends if you're coming back to a ketchup cocktail. That was a conversation we were having in a previous live stream, wasn't it? Fucking tomato sauce or ketchup in cocktails. Ugh. Safra, it ruined everything. If you were into AFL or traveling, it's fucked. Like my daughter, young Miss Angry, was going to do an exchange thing to Japanese university. She'd been building up for a year. And unsurprisingly, it got cancelled. And she was crushed by it. She's actually done really well. She actually bounced back from that disappointment really well because that's really she. Like she spent most of a year building up to doing this exchange to Japan for 2 semesters. And it was a huge deal. Like she's been doing advanced Japanese language classes. She's doing linguistics at uni. And then it got cancelled. And she was initially really crushed, but she's bounced back really well. She's incredibly resilient. And she's been through a lot over the last, 10 years. And she's pretty fucking amazing. I'm pretty impressed with my own offspring. I don't necessarily take a lot of credit for it, but both young Ms. Angry and young Mr. Angry are pretty fucking amazing people. I don't take a lot of credit for it myself. I think they are their own people and they're pretty fucking impressive people, quite honestly. Oh no. Defensive Wounds, you've got the complete conspiracy there. 5G, bats, infection, toilet rolls, use Bill Gates microchip in our assholes to give us COVID-19. Yeah, the conspiracy theories are pretty fucking weird at the moment. Quite weird. Safa, she is planning on, she pins her hopes on being able to do the exchange next year. And there's an enormous amount of variables there, but she's pinned on doing the exchange next year, which will hopefully come through. So, so this is really an old-fashioned glass that I did my Manhattans in. Normally you do the Manhattans in a coupe or a martini glass. So it's kind of gauche to do them in a rocks glass or an old-fashioned glass, but I happen to have 3 of these ready, so that's what happened essentially. Oh, holy dooly! That's the 3 Manhattans, all drunked. Boy, almost at 10:30. Poor, don't necessarily want to go to bed straight after drinking those, but it's one of those things where I think it's like, I don't know about anyone else, but when I've had a couple of the beverages and then go to sleep, I tend to hear fall and get an elbow in the ribs from Mrs. Angry. But the worst thing about having had a couple of drinks before going to bed. So I think I tend to fall asleep with my mouth open. So instead of breathing through my nose, I breathe through my mouth. And I wake up in the middle of the night and my throat is like sandpaper because I've been breathing through my mouth. And it's like I can't even swallow. I wake up and it's like... So I have to stumble out of bed and drink some water because my throat feels like fucking sandpaper. Yes, I can honestly I like to get sleepy lying on my back, but I don't like to sleep because I know the instant I'm about to fall asleep, I relax and I'll do a snorty snore thing. I could be lying on my back and it'll be fine, and then it's like I'm about to fall asleep and I go, and I get an elbow from Mrs. Anger and I say, cool, roll over on my side, and I don't snore as much when I'm on my side. If I'm lying on my back, it's just and I get an elbow in the ribs. So I like lying on my back until I'm just about to sleep, and then I turn on my side, and then it's usually less noise. I'm sure if Mrs. Angry was here, we'd go, no, it's not actually. It's not less noise. It is not less noise. But it's just me here. It's also less noise. Annette, what should you drink now? I don't know. Yeah, Safi, definitely have a drink of water before going to sleep. But it's like if I've had a couple of drinks, I'll sleep with my mouth open, and that just dries my throat out. If I haven't been drinking, I'll sleep with my mouth closed and just breathe through my nose, and that's fine. But it's okay, because in the middle of the night, we wake up, I can't breathe, can't fly. Get up, take a piss, and have a drink of water. And that, again, helps because as a general rule, even though I've had a couple of drinks tonight, I would not expect to get a hangover or even have much of a headache. I don't think I've had my fucking anti-dizziness medication tonight. I need to check that. While I'm not signing off. I'll be back in a minute. I just need to check what medication I've taken. All right. So this is what I'm taking for this vertigo thing I've had. It's called Stemetil, which is apparently also used for people who have schizophrenia. So that's interesting. Yeah, Abigail, Crystal Head vodka is good. I've got some little things of Crystal Head vodka. Also, the Alien Head vodka is quite good. Okay, so I've got to work this out. First day I took 2. Second day I took 3. No, I've got to take a third one. I need something to wash it down with, and I'm not going to wash it down with fucking bourbon. Juice. I'll probably get a juice out of the fridge. Oh, wash it down with the juice. So yeah, this stuff that's to treat my vertigo, which is caused by some weirdness in my inner ear, apparently is also used to treat schizophrenia, which is interesting. There you go, Stella. You know it's for motion sickness. When you were a FIFO at work, yeah, it's used to treat nausea. It adjusts your brain chemistry, affects the bits that cause nausea. But apparently, also works for schizophrenics. Sometimes it works for anxiety too. It's a tranquilizer, basically. Is that a TV? That's a monitor. That's my work from home desk. I made a point of setting it up apart from like my home computer where I recreate. My recreational computer is in there in the next room. So I made a point of getting another monitor and keyboard for my work from home stuff. So there's a laptop connected to that monitor. And so I commute to work. My computer chair is on my recreational computer, which is out there. And when I'm working, I bring the chair in here and put it there. That's my commute. So it's how I separate the work from home stuff with being at home. Megalicious classy straight. No one else drinks this stuff. If anyone else drank it, I would have poured it into a glass. But no, this is pineapple coconut fruit drink from the good people at Golden Circle. It's great. I really actually like this, like with some lemonade, but no one else drinks it, so I drank it straight from the carton. If anyone else drank it, I would have poured it into a drink. I'm not that gross. Yeah. Annette, you're going to have a chocolate blush. That sounds interesting. The orange juice or the pills? It's a generic brand. What do they call it? It's Stimatil, aka prochlorperazine. Prochlorperazine. I did actually look it up, and it's also used to treat schizophrenia. Dosage as directed. May cause drowsiness, may increase the effects of alcohol. Yeah, baby. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery. Well, the heaviest machinery is the old angry bod that I'm going to attempt to steer into bed sometime soon. So yeah, what's the little warning thing? May cause drowsiness. That's okay. I'm staying at home. I've just got to I'll tell you what though, this fucking benign persistent vertigo, and it's got a few other names that I've got, is fucked because just even walking up the hallway, I'll bump into the walls because I feel dizzy. But I'm hoping this was supposed to cure it in about 2 days. So I'm hoping this weekend it's like gone altogether. How am I flying? I'm fine. I don't normally have a problem. I do have in-ear problems. I've had ear problems since I was a kid. So sometimes the pressure differences with flying, I'll really feel it. And I've got like persistent tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. That's just a never-ending thing for me. So yeah, no, but I'm not that prone to motion sickness or flying sickness or any of that sort of thing. Oh no, Megalicia, I think the moment Mrs. Angry has to help me get to the toilet, just have me committed, put me in an old folks home. That's the thing. Don't know if this even says where it's made. Yeah, the chemist logo might have covered up where it's made. I don't think. Wait, distributed by Batmob in Australia. No, it's made in Spain. There you go. I found it. It's made in Spain. Protect from light. Store below 30 Celsius. Lucky I didn't have this in summer, because it gets over 30 Celsius here in summer. The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. Yes, I'm a theatre major. I studied Pygmalion, not My Fair Lady, which is the movie version, the George Bernard Shaw social satire, Pygmalion. The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. What's Stella, you've had it in Western Australia. It's fine over 30 sing. Can I be a movie star? I think I should be, Safa. I think I really should be. Where does vowel sounds, Australian vowel sounds are very weird. True. Abigail, am I drunk? Let me see. I had 3 Manhattans, including one that was made with overproof a whiskey. I had a Between the Sheets, and what was the other one I had? The Bijou? There's Chartreuse, which is 50% alcohol. So I had a Between the Sheets. A Bijou is gin, chartreuse, and vermouth. Chartreuse is 50% alcohol, 55%, I think. Green chartreuse. So Abigail, to be completely honest, tiny bit drunk. 5 cocktails in 2.5 hours, tiny bit drunk. Definitely follow the instructions on my medication. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery. Yeah, I'm a little bit drunk. So I think the first cocktail was like gin based. It's 40%. The Bijou. So I'm going to double check. The green chartreuse is how much? 55%. Okay. So I had a full shot of chartreuse, which is 55% alcohol, and I had a Manhattan that had 2 ounces or 2 shots of this, which is 65.65% alcohol. I'm pretty drunk. So that's that. It's just water at this point from melted ice, but I need some water. So yes, I think before going to bed, I'll have a glass of water and probably an ibuprofen as well. Defense of Wits. I've never fallen asleep in a live stream, but quite a few years ago, I woke up one morning and going, because Mrs. Angry had been away for the weekend, because sometimes she does these training things for her work where she has to go off on a course and she's away for the weekend, and I'm left by myself. So fuck, all rules are gone at that point. And I woke up on the Sunday morning and went, I know I did a live stream last night, but I actually don't remember going to bed. I went in the bathroom and the medicine cabinet was in disarray. So I'd obviously gone and got some headache tablets before going to bed. But I didn't remember going to bed. So I had to sheepishly go on social media and say, hey, was anyone on my live stream last night? And how did it end? Because I don't actually remember. I just woke up and shit was fucked up and my laptop was closed. And what they said, because what I was doing on this live stream, I was actually watching movies and doing a commentary on them. And one of them was 300, the Zack Snyder film about the 300 Spartans, where I think I was saying comments like, well, if wanting to watch a film with almost naked, heavily muscled men groping each other is gay, I don't want to be straight. Because 300 is like one of the most homoerotic films that has no sex in it. I actually know there's some heterosex in it, isn't there? But it's the gayest film that doesn't have any actual gay sex in it that I can think of. No, I don't think it was New Year's Eve. I think it was I've certainly done some New Year's Eve live streams where I've got pretty drunk, but I've always remembered what happened. But this one I had to actually ask people what happened, and they went, oh, you kind of got quieter and quieter. You stopped saying things and you were just kind of staring. And then without much warning, you said something along the lines of, oh, fucked, I have to go to bed. And I just snapped the laptop down and went to bed. So apparently that was what happened. I just said less and less. And then at some point I just went, oh, fuck, you go to bed. And I just sort of reached and snapped the laptop shut and went to, yes, I actually did do 7 hours last New Year's Eve. And the only reason I stopped there, I stayed up till it was midnight in Perth, which was 3 hours after. I started at 8 p.m. local time, and I thought I'd go to midnight, and because I had a couple people from Western Australia on the stream, and so I stayed on until it was midnight in Western Australia. So it was 7, and it didn't feel like it. 7 fucking hour live stream. Jesus. I don't know why I do things like that to myself, but I was having fun. Basically, I was having fun. Mrs. Angry went to bed about midnight, and I just kept going. Yes, defensive wounds. I did it for the Perthites, and I think you were there too, Stella. And I stayed for a Perth midnight, and then I was like, okay, back at 3 a.m. now. And honestly, I don't think I was that tired. But I think it was just arbitrary. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? I need to go to bed. And so I went to bed. Me and my friend Molly on New Year's Eve, hey? What? Oh, God, defensive wounds. You've got good fucking memories. Stella was drinking in bed. I do not remember a lot of the particulars. I just remember being really surprised that I lasted till the Perth New Year's Eve. Was it? Okay. My Manhattans are empty. I'm going to go to bed. I have had, as usual, a fantastic time with you fantastic people. I won't be doing a live stream tomorrow, although I might edit the Manhattan video and put it on my cocktail channel. Those of you who have not subscribed to Angry Cocktails, you should do so because it's a fabulous time. I'm going to edit that and maybe put it live on my cocktail channel tomorrow. And there's a whole bunch of variables between now and Sunday, but I may be back for a live stream on Sunday night. Not Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. We'll see what happens. Okay. So look after yourself, one and all. You are indeed fabulous people, and I enjoy your company very much. And I hope to see you again soon. I will say goodbye.